We made it through yesterday's marathon of a card, the Faker Shaker card number 1, that also had a interlude of digging through sequins. So thank you for bearing with me for that. Now let's see what we are creating. So I'll give you a nice close-up view of it. We have a Thinking of You card, and the one and only time we are die cutting in this whole entire shebang. I will say this. I did not, I keep pressing the wrong button. That would be why it's not working. I accidentally did not include a scrap to stamp and die cut our Flirty Flamingo flower on. If you do not have any paper, any spare paper, any extra paper, or any paper that you can use, you can either use any type of paper. I should clarify, probably any type of cardstock. Otherwise, you can jump ahead to the bottom of your stack, either card number 11 or card number 13. Both of them have white mats. Now, you do not want to use any of the white mats from any of the other cards because those are white mats for the inside. And those inside white mats, those cannot have a die cut out of them. But here I have card number 11. You can see I have two. One of them will go on the inside. The other you can stamp on and die cut out of. What I didn't consider is the fact that I actually have a mini cut and emboss machine. That being said, I do have a big one, but my mom is using it for her Christmas cards. So let me grab my scraps. Okay, so by the power of TV, we've got a scrap. All right, we are going to stamp. No, we're going to pause. I told you about what you didn't get, but how about what you did get? So, out of the advent calendar, you are going to take your piece of this beautiful basic beige leaf print DSP. This is going to be a full card front. So we will bring in our cutter. We are going to cut it at, someday I will get that the right way. We are going to cut it at 5.5 by 4 1/4. Then you're also going to take this very bright, very floral Memories and More card. It's got the pink stripes on the back, in case you're wondering which one exactly it is. Actually, I'm going to go double check that I'm still producing audio. I'm going to be paranoid until I get used to this. My sincere apologies. Also from the advent calendar, you are going to take this ticket piece. I call it a ticket piece because it's got the rounded inward corner edges. Looks like a ticket to me. I know we don't use tickets for a lot of things these days, so us younger folk, not necessarily me, probably younger than me, might not know what I mean by a ticket. Okay, then we've got 2 laser cut leaves that we will sponge to be green. And this is the flower for the inside. If you are participating in this class with me, you also received from me these supplies. So you've got this is the piece I just brought in that we're going to stamp on. This is not going to get stamped on because I don't have the right embossing machine. But we'll put that right back. Okay. You will receive basic beige card base, scored and ready to go. You'll bring your bone folder in. Inside white mat, Memories and More mat in Flirty Flamingo, and then this teeny tiny little piece that you will stamp Thinking of You on in Old Olive. Okay, speaking of stamping, let's get to it. There is nothing on the inside, at least not how we designed it. You can put whatever you want in there if you would like. Then on the outside, we have our scrap. On the scrap, we are stamping Flirty Flamingo and Crushed Curry. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, remember that I talked about? Yeah, we're going to do that someday. All right, 12 days of crafting fun. We have the small flower. I'm thinking of you. That can stay up. And then the big-ish inside. I said ish in case you didn't catch me. Big-ish inside. Okay, move that off to the side. Ink it up. Stamp it. Clean it. You guys, so I exclusively use Stampin' Up products with one exception, and that's Winnie the Pooh. There's a company out there. Got this a long time ago. I don't even remember what it's called. It has Winnie the Pooh stamps. You'll see my Winnie the Pooh's peeking out here. He's on a pumpkin. Someday I'll show you. I really love to use those stamps for watercoloring, which means this is probably a really bad chamois because I probably used Stays on ink, because if you're watercoloring, you want a not water-based ink pad, which would be our Memento. You want to use Memento cleaner for that. So shame on me if I did that. But anyways, I love making Winnie the Pooh watercolor cards. I don't do it much anymore because I do a lot of this, but I'll whip it out someday. Okay, that one's done. This stamp pad is done for now. So we'll bring in Crushed Curry. Crushed Curry is going to be the center of the flower, but it's going to be stamped at second strength, which means we're going to bring this monstrosity in. There was something on it. Okay. Because of how vibrant this ink pad that I have is, that second strength does not look very good. So I'm just going to hover over the top. Full strength. Use your own discretion for if you want first strength or second strength. Hi, Pooh. All right, then we have Thinking of You. That's going on this super tiny little strip. Remember, there's two sides to every sheet of paper. So if you don't stamp it straight, you can always do it again. Or you can do it on a piece of scrap and cut it out once you have stamped it. You will notice when I stamp, or when I stamp something that needs to be centered or straight, neat is a strong word. When I stamp something that I would prefer or want to be straight, I will hover over the top. You'll notice that because you'll either see me when you're looking at me, like looking all weird. Oh, Thinking of You, Pooh. Or you likely will see my head in the frame. Why was I saying that? I do it, so you might want to do it too. Our photopolymer stamps are great, but the more over the top of your stamp you are, the better chance you have of it being straight. All right, that looks great. Now we are going to bring our die cutter in. If you do not have a die cutting machine, well, 2 of the things in the advent calendar aren't going to work for you because there are 2 die sets. But you could always fussy cut this. But I'm going to bring in my cute little mini boss. I love our embossing and die cutting machines. They are great. And then door number 1. Door number 1 has our dies, at least the shape dies. And then we're going to take plate number 1, plate number 2 for cutting. We are going to take our stamped image. We are going to take our die and we are going to shimmy shake it until it fits like a glove. And then we are going to take number 2 that does not have any cuts in it and make a sandwich. Some people use low-tack tape or Post-it note to hold that die exactly where you want it. I just say a prayer and throw it up to God. Maybe someday I'll do that. It's a great idea. Mine's just a smidgen shifted. Now I don't know if it's shifted because it shifted when I was putting the plate down, or maybe I didn't have it very well centered to begin with. I try not to stress too much about things because I have enough other things in my life to worry about. But if you are a very particular stamper and die cutter and crafter, and you have the capacity to be concerned about that, I'm proud of you. Okay, in the meantime, let's do a little maneuvering. Okay, so we have our seam on the left, relatively non-directional piece of DSP, but if you're trying to determine whether there's a top or a bottom, either there's obviously a top and a bottom, landscapes, certain other things, or it probably doesn't matter too much. Just try it. If this looks like the leaves are falling and you don't like it, then turn it around. There's 1 leaf sprig that's going down. The rest of them are pointing relatively upward. So to me, this is the way that it goes. It might not seem that way to you. It's completely up to you. This is your card. When I use liquid glue, I usually just make a squiggle, but I do try to make sure that if it's not a very good squiggle, if it's a thick squiggle, I'm going to spread the glue out with the tip. I don't know that it matters. I used to, use my finger, then I'd get sticky mess everywhere. I've grown up, decided that's not a good idea. I'm going to make sure there's at least a dab in each corner. That's close enough to the corner. All right. Paper still directionally heading the right way. I love liquid glue because you lay it down and you got 10-ish, maybe, seconds to shimmy it to where you want it to be before it has decided it's going to stay there. So that's why I use liquid glue. I'm non-committal. All right. Then we are going to take the Memories and More card and we are going to adhere it to the mat. Again with the corners. This level is going to be on dimensionals, but I think I'm going to wait a smidge to put that down. So the next layer is our ticket. That is going to be on dimensionals as well. Smaller piece, I think I can get by with 4. Maybe I would do 5. This is just going to be centered vertically. Okay, next we have our sentiment. Small little rat's nest behind. called for about 8 inches. You guys, this glass mat is revolutionary. I love it. Do you use a glass mat in your workspace, or what do you use? I was so happy when Stampin' Up came out with this. I was resistant to get it at first. Thought, I got the grid paper. You know, I use the foam surface. No, not the same. This is amazing. If you don't have one and you would like one, let me know and we can figure out and order one from Stampin' Up and figure out what class I have in store next for you to earn for free. Right now, I don't have an answer to that. Very soon I will. All right, take your 8 inches. We're going to make a rat's nest, but it's a small one. So I would either do 3 fingers tight or 2 fingers loose. I got 2 fingers loose, thumb in between. We'll call that good. Okay, take the ends. We'll start over in case you missed it. Okay, I'm going to hold 2 fingers loose. Take the ends and stick that down. Now, thinking of you means I'm going to want it to hang out that side if there's hanging out happening at all. On the sample, it's more tight and over, not like hanging out the side at all. So I'm going to start by not, okay, both of the ends are down. I don't know. It's a rat's nest. It doesn't need to be perfect. Okay. Then this is going to be adhered to the ticket with the flower on top of it, but it is adhered non-dimensionalized. However, the end that hangs off is on stilts, aka dimensionals. I'm gonna let that sit there for a minute. This is on dimensionals. Let's put some dimensionals behind that guy. I will say, if you are not doing this live, I would for sure choose whether you want single or double strength, first strength, or second strength for your center, because mine is extra dark because it's a second strength with a first strength on top of it. So it looks kind of like orangey-ish. Not the best look, but I'm not gonna be upset about it. Okay, so before you peel those backs off, we're gonna put some color on these guys. What color do you think I should use? I think it's gonna be Old Olive. Dauber, you know the drill. It's a pretty strong color, unless, of course, your pad is maybe a little older. Ooh. Okay. 1. Oh gosh. Yeah, they're dark. That's okay because it's homemade and it's still beautiful, but also because my flower is very vibrantly dark. All right, so back over here. I'm going to move this for a second. Put some tear and tape to the right of the middle. Then I'm going to grab one of my leaves and stick it down facing down. Lightly tap. Then I'm going to take the leaf that's to the right and stick that down next. Then I'm going to take my flower, just move it over here, not sticking it down yet. Then I'm going to take my sentiment. I'm also going to put 2 dimensionals behind the thinking, the capital T side. Flip or still skin that and shimmy it under the leaves. If at all possible. I don't want to cover up the words, but I also don't want to have it too far off to the right. So either tuck it under one, that's what I'm going to have to do, and pray that it looks okay once I put the flower on. I want to tuck it even farther. Oh, look at that. She can swivel. Okay, that's great. See, remember when I said I lightly wanted that tapped down? That's why. My future self thanks my past self. Okay, again, with the light taps. Then we're going to turn the flower until it fits nicely. I think that looks pretty nice. And then tap or tap that down. Now everything can get nicely tapped down. Then bring your card base back. Oh, not glue. Dimensionals. Okay. A nice little love tap. Then flip this over and center it on your card. Okay, open it up. Take your inside mat and your little white flower, a little bit of glue on the inside, as in bottom left corner. That's a new one. And then glue. And stick it down. Clear your workspace. Oh, you know what? We didn't Stella. This is again a pretty busy card. Not busy in a bad way. So I think my answer to Stella is going to be just on the focal petals again. All right. Thinking of you with a lot of space to write why you're thinking about them. So, there we go. This is card number 7. Thank you so much for joining along. We've made it over the hump now. There's 6 cards to go, so we are in the home stretch. Thank you so much for joining me in this series, and I look forward to crafting with you tomorrow and sending sunshine, rainbows, and bright skies your way.